screen that it is recording. All right. Thank you very much for that response. Oh yeah, there we go. Next, we have our next question. Go ahead.
It's Liv. Oh no. Hi, I'm Maya. My question is, have you ever gone to Africa? And if so, what was the highlight of your trip?
Hi, Maya. Thanks for that great question. You know what? I have been so lucky to have been twice to Africa. I fundraised for myself within our group. So the first time I went, it was called the Gardens of Hope Project. And we developed small community gardens at a very influential clinic in South Africa for these patients and a number of high schools. So we taught the kids how to plant their own vegetables, how to grow their own garden, and we supported the production of fruit trees. We got some goats, we got some pigs. So that was a great trip and really fun, and that kind of fired my enthusiasm for going back to Africa. So in 2007, a colleague of mine who's a retired nurse, and she's actually a grandma, she's super brave, she and I went to 5 different countries in Africa and did this whirlwind 4-month tour of visiting and working for hospitals, clinics. The one that I'm most passionate about is a palliative care center in Malawi called Nidmoyo. I think you guys might have watched the video. It really changed my life being there, working with the team that was helping people that were in palliative care, which means that they were dying, but we helped them die with dignity, with everything they needed for comfort. And we still send about $3,000 a year to the Comfort Fund for that center. And that's what keeps me involved and passionate about doing this work. But yeah, Africa is amazing. The people are amazing. The culture, the scenery, it's so exciting to be there. I never went on any safaris, but I did see some animals.
All right, thank you very much. Next question.
Hello, my name is Liv, and my question is, how could our grade 6 class help with this organization?
Oh, I'm so happy to hear you guys say that. I would love to help you guys come up with a fundraising idea. One year I did a boot camp for Africa, and we did a 2-hour physical fitness boot camp, and everyone got pledges and raised money, and that was really successful. We've done a 10K run, and people got money for that. We actually have a little nonprofit store on Salt Spring that sells fair trade items from all over the world. So that's how we currently fund things. And this has been a really challenging year for funding. Every year we've managed to raise about $15,000 to $20,000 to go towards various African projects. Last year, as an exception, we barely made our rent. So it's been a really tough year. So I love that idea. I'd love to come talk to you more about the project, show you some pictures. Maybe we could come up with an idea together, what we could do to raise money. The kids that are affected in the Nidmoyo, a lot of them are your age, and a lot of them have lost their parents. So the Comfort Fund is a really nice fund because it provides comfort to the families that have lost someone. So it might be food so they don't have to worry about food, or blankets so they're not cold, or a bed to sleep on. Just little things that make them comfortable. So yeah, any ideas you guys can come up with for a fundraising scheme, I'd love to support.
Sounds fantastic. What a great opportunity. Next.
Hello, my name is Lachlan, and my question is, when working with solid, what's one of the most difficult parts of your job?
Well, yeah, in my volunteer work, I gotta say it's very emotionally affecting to be in Africa and people are suffering. It's also very uplifting. When I was in Malawi, because I was visiting people in their little huts, like they have a little dirt hut, basically, not even a mat to sleep on sometimes, not a bed, nothing for comfort. And some of these people were in tremendous pain because at that time there wasn't a lot of pain medication even for somebody who was suffering. So that was really hard. And I think it was quite life-changing when I one day was driving down the road with the people that we were volunteering with, the Nimoyo, and we just went past village after village after village of these little huts, and I just knew in my heart that in every village somebody was suffering. That was very challenging, but also life-changing, and it really fired my enthusiasm to do more.
All right, thank you very much. Next question. I think that's you, Hunter.
I'm Hunter, and do you have a medical degree to work in with this organization?
Oh, I think it was, do you need a medical degree to work with Solid?
No, you don't. And myself and Beth, who's the nurse who traveled with me on our last trip, we're actually the only health professionals in the organization. So we do a lot that's not health related, and there's so much need. I'd love to go back to Malawi one day. I'd love to take my husband David and Elsie to do some volunteer work on that project. He's a real fixer-upper, and he can do anything, so he'd be perfect for helping with any sort of project. Anything that you can do with enthusiasm and any skill set is basically useful. You just have to be of use and contributing to the project. And so in your own person, you can find your skill set that might be of value.
I like that. Anything that you can do with enthusiasm. That's a wonderful way of thinking about helping others. That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Anna. Next question.
Hi, my name is Olivia, and my question is, do you work in Africa from time to time, or do you stay here in Canada doing other things for Solid?
This question is most of the work that you do with Solid, is it when you're on these trips, or do you do a lot of work here on Vancouver Island, like admin support or fundraising or things like that?
Yeah, so we have had this nonprofit store since 2006, and that's actually staffed by volunteers. We have a lot of grandmas that come and help us in that project, and Stephen Lewis has a foundation called Grandmothers for Grandmothers, and it's helping grandmothers in Africa raise their grandbabies, which is still an ongoing issue. So the main part of what I do now is as one of the board members of Solid. So I've been a board member for 19 years, and we have regular meetings and we do annual reports. But to be honest, since I've had a family, I haven't been back to Africa. I would love to go. But like I said, we still do little fundraising events to raise money. And the Solid Exchange is the main way we raise money now. It's sort of taken a little bit of a back seat to the busyness of life and having a family, but I'm very passionate about it still, and I would love to go back to Malawi and be with those people again. Wonderful.
Excellent.
Hi, I'm Madison, and my question is, why is the organization based in Salt Spring?
Yes, that's a great question. So SOLID stands for the Salt Spring Organization for Life Improvement and Development. And quite honestly, it was started by me and 4 other friends sitting around a kitchen table saying, what can we do to help? And it was that grassroots. We have had the fortune of being able to spread our passion far and wide with a lot of exposure through community conferences, and we've gone to Toronto to the conference specializing in this area. I actually was lucky or privileged to have received a national award for my charitable efforts in Toronto in 2007. So I'm really proud of that. And so our tiny little organization that started, like I said, around my kitchen table has grown into something much bigger. And we've been able to engage other communities. So we did an 8,000 cross. I think it's on the website. You might see it. It's basically the HIV ribbon done in crosses, red and white crosses on a hillside. So we engaged 9 other communities across the country to do that one year. We've had some great partnerships with big organizations, but our little organization remains a little organization.
That is fantastic. 4 friends just asking themselves, what can we do to help? I think that is a very inspiring Yeah, story. Next question. It's you, Joseph. Well, I guess, you know what, we might not even ask that question because I think she has already answered it, to tell you the truth. And the next question as well, which is Devin's, I don't think we need to ask. Max, I kind of feel like this question has been partially answered, but I would really appreciate it if you would ask it anyways, especially emphasizing, Max, the last part of your question.
Yeah.
Or the, if yes, who was your favorite patient?
Okay, so have you ever helped anybody overseas? And if yes, who is your favorite patient? If not, do you work in an office, home, workplace, etc.?
So, and I think you've already answered most of these questions, but I think we would all be interested in that second part. It says, who was your favorite patient? If you've ever worked directly with a patient,
Yeah.
off the top of your head, can you think of any patient that especially made an impact on you?
Yeah, I absolutely fell in love with a little 4-year-old boy who was an orphan due to the pandemic back then. And he was such a sweet, sweet, sweet boy. And I was so proud to be able to make his life better. I directly helped a lot of people, and I'm really proud of all that, but that's the one that stands out. And nowadays, I work in a pharmacy in Duncan, so it's been a little bit challenging the last year. And about a year ago, we're frontline workers still, so we have plexiglass up, and we have our masks, and we have our gloves, and our team goes out in full protective gear to help people in the community. So, yeah, I still work. I don't work from home because I can't help people when I'm working from home necessarily in my job. But I still help people face to face every day to get better and help them understand their medications and help the doctors treat people the best way they can.
All right, thank you so much. Next, Elsie.
Hi.
Hi.
What's the best part of volunteering?
That's a great question. The best part of volunteering is the knowledge that in your heart you've done everything you can to help somebody else selflessly, that you just want somebody else's life to be better, and that you see the reward, but it's not even about a reward. It's just about knowing in your heart that you're doing all that you can do to help somebody else who needs help.
Ooh, I like that. Knowing that you're trying as best as you can. That is very, very inspiring. Next, Joseph. Joseph has an interesting question, more related to your career as a pharmacist. It's actually, I thought it was quite interesting.
Hello, my name is Joseph, and my question is, have you ever seen an alternative medicine that surprised you as a pharmacist?
That's a really good question too. I'm constantly surprised in my job. I learn something new every single day, and I love that about my job. It's constantly challenging and never boring. It's interesting, when I was in Africa, actually, there were, especially at Nidmoyo, they have a giant medicinal garden. So they use medicinal herbs a lot to treat things like anxiety, nausea, all sorts of, they have an amazing wealth of knowledge that's been handed down over generations about medicinal herbs and what use they are. I'm also learning a lot more with my work through the First Nations community here. We have a lot of First Nations clients, and they actually have just an abundance of wealth too about medicinal herbs and their benefits. So yeah, I'm constantly learning and surprised by what I see. And you know, the medicines all come from plants. So somewhere in the Amazon, there's probably the cure for all cancers. And yeah, it's fascinating.
Wow, that is really interesting. Olivia, do you mind if we skip your question? Because I think that Ed has already answered this. And then we're going to skip down to Elsie's question. I have one more follow-up question, and then that's it. Thank you so much for allowing us to machine gun questions at you right now. I really appreciate it. Elsie, you have one final question.
What do you hope for the organization in the future?
That question really warms my heart because it is such a big part of my life, and I want this project, this organization, to be helping people for many, 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 many years to come. I'm always going to be a part of it as long as I can. I feel such joy every year that we can send money and we see the results of funds that we send. I hope that we attract young people who are passionate about helping as well. I hope that we have more volunteers that show up and keep, get the joy that I've got out of the last 19 years of doing this work. So yeah, I just hope that Solid has a long, long future and that we can continue to provide loving care and compassion and assistance to our partners.
Excellent. Maya, did you have a question you wanted to ask?
Yeah.
Do you want to come up and ask it? Yeah. And Liv and anyone else, if you have a question that you would like to ask, we'll go in turn. Just maybe wait till you're in front.
Yeah.
There you go.
So I have another question, and it is, has anyone you have ever helped join the organization?
Yeah. There's been a number of, we've had really formed partnerships with the people on the ground who run the projects in Africa, and that's the closest I would say as to joining the organization. It's more of a partnership between ourselves and the groups that we help in Africa. We've had a number of people from African descent who live on Salt Spring who have joined our project and been immensely helpful in helping us identify other projects we can help and help us understand culturally what's needed. And it's been hugely helpful. So it's more like a partnership between a small group on Salt Spring and many other groups around Africa.
My question is, how old do you have to be to volunteer?
Well, I think you could volunteer from any age in terms of fundraising, and that would be the most valuable thing you could do right now. In terms of being on the board or attending meetings, it would probably be something, I'm guessing, we don't have an age limit per se. I would say 13, 14, any age really, but probably in today's day and time and the challenges we're facing with COVID and our ability to raise funds, I think fundraising is probably the most important thing that could happen.
Okay. Thank you very much. I have two questions. The first one's really simple. What was the name of the store in Salt Spring Island?
Oh, it's called the Solid Exchange.
The Solid Exchange.
Yeah, so it's right downtown. It's in an area we call Gasoline Alley. It's because it's right beside the gasoline station.
Yeah.
And it's right down by the water. You can't miss it. You drive right past it when you're going through town. And it's a wonderful little store that has all sorts of fair trade items for sale.
Excellent. It's called the Solid Exchange. Oh, is that from the Solid Exchange?
Yeah.
Want to come up to the front and show some of the students what it is?
So we have a bunch of very keen knitters on Salt Spring. This is a little dolly that one of the grandmas knit for little babies in Africa, and we sent a bunch of containers over with dolls and blankets and layettes and baby hats and all sorts of stuff for orphan babies. So that's just one example, but we've got some beautiful things in the store.
Super adorable. My next question is a little bit more difficult. So one of the main projects, or one of the main reasons why we're interviewing people that have done volunteer work, is because our students are going to be researching a global problem, and then they're going to create a speech. And in that speech, they are going to be trying to get people to care about the issue that they're very passionate about. Do you have any suggestions of what maybe of what you do in your organization to try to get people to care about the problems that you see?
I do actually, and that's not a difficult question for me. I think the best way to engage people to raise their compassion, to get their interest, is to tell a personal story of a family, just like yours, but a family in Africa who is facing entirely different circumstances and challenges and devastation and heartache, and really make it personal. I mean, we all get statistics all the time, you know, the numbers affected, the numbers that have died. But if you can connect somebody's heart with a personal story about a family, and then link that family to an organization that could help them, like the Nidmoya Palliative Trust, for example, or a clinic or an orphanage, and then show exactly how that orphanage is helping. I think that's a really effective way to get people's interest.
Thank you for that answer. That actually echoes what another person. Do all of you remember when we talked to Peter Lovelink from Bethany Kids? He said something very similar. He said, if you want people to care, you need to tell them stories. You need to make the issue personal and relevant, and so people can connect to it. So I think it's really great that is a big idea that's been emphasized by two different interviewees. Max, do you have a question? Okay, after Max's question, I think we're going to say goodbye. We're going to thank Anna for joining us, but Max has one more question.
Okay, so my question is, why do medicines, like why help with medicine? Why not something like education or poverty or something like that?
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So my specialty is as a pharmacist. I went to university for 6 years to do that training. And so I felt that was my area of expertise. So that's my passion. However, as a group, we've done a lot to do with education, with poverty, with lifting up people's ability to care for themselves, with gardening and agriculture and having animals. We've bought a lot of school uniforms for kids, because in Africa you can't go to school without a uniform, and a lot of parents can't afford the uniform. So we've done a lot of different things. I guess my focus has been on this talk, the medicine side of things, but we've actually done a great deal of varied projects from education, poverty, agriculture, and medicine.
All right, thank you very much, Anna. Can grade sixes, can we please give Miss Anna a round of applause for helping us out? Also, that round of applause is applauding you for the work that you're doing. I think it's so inspiring. Whenever there's any other person that's concerned about the well-being of other people, even people that are different or live in other countries, I think that is inspirational, very, very noble and honorable. So I very much appreciate the work that you're doing, and I especially appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to our class. I hope in the future maybe there's something our class can do to help out with your solid foundation. Yeah, I think we're going to leave it there. Have a wonderful day, Anna, and thank you so much for meeting with us.
Thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure. Have
Bye-bye.
a great day. Bye.
All right.